Okay, so this is Lisa Ann from the Holistic Healing Ministries Jamaica, and I'm just doing a follow up to our September 3 message, right, that we got during our Bible study. Okay, so it was very painful to watch and to hear the warnings again about pending earthquake, but we were still appreciative. I know that I was appreciative to hear the Lord say that He was still giving signs and that we were to watch the plates, and that if we feel another, when we feel the next earthquake come, then the people who are in the low lying areas need to head to the hills, right? Because a greater one would come and then that one would be catastrophic. And he highlighted Port Royal, people in Port Royal were to, and Port Royal, Harborview area, get to the hills nearby. I saw Rockford Hills, I saw the hills like where Cane River, people need to get up into the hills. And if you have family in other parts that are not in the low-lying areas, I saw the area around Raytown come all the way down where Harbor Street, come around to BOG, Marcus Garvey Drive. He showed me persons in customs uniform who would be impacted because the ports would be impacted. He warned not just of, he didn't, I don't recall yesterday saying a tsunami. I don't remember most of the times when he showed me these videos, the visions, I have to go back to listen to hear exactly what was said because it's a live vision and scene that I'm seeing. But he showed me I recall seeing custom officers and he was saying, what will you do if something happens on the job? And he warned about tidal wave impacting people, and was saying, is your soul all right? Do you know how to swim? What would you do if a tsunami comes? Right? And then he came back again and showed me again downtown Kingston, wow, I saw a whole lot of people. He showed me a lot of people in Kingston, and he showed me buildings that were collapsing from this earthquake. Huge high-rise buildings like over Tivoli side, because the buildings that I saw were facing the market, that the Coronation Market. And then that could be symbolism because it could mean that other buildings around Kingston collapse. He said it would be devastating. So not just that buildings would be destroyed, but flooding waves would come inshore, would come in, and a lot of people would drown. And it was sad, but God is preparing his people. He's saying too that persons are being judged in those communities because of idolatry, that there were many who were revivalists, and he wanted persons to turn. He said, Kumina, revivalism, persons were worshiping Baphomet because, entertainment now is pushing Baphomet to be Lord over the lives, especially of the young people who are following these artists who sold out their soul. It was just sad. I could see Marcus Garvey Drive area, the area where the factories were. He was showing those areas and he was saying low-lying areas. The coastline of Kingston was the focus for me, even though he said that in the west would be affected, the coastline of Jamaica would be affected more severely than the interior. He said that the interior parts of the island, there would be some structural damage, but not as devastating as in Kingston and the coastlines because of the tidal wave that would come in and tsunami. But another interesting thing that he pointed out was Portmore. Portmore, he said, he warned that parts of Portmore would sink, and that was very scary for me. He showed me Port Henderson. He said people from Hellshire was to be warned. Hellshire, Fort Clarence, Fort Henderson, Portmore in general. He said dump up land, areas of dump up land will just sink. Now, I don't know the entire structure of Portmore, so you should know the terrain where you live and where is dump up land from where is not dump up land, right? Please note, get your emergency supplies ready, plan your evacuation route. When you feel the next earthquake, head to the hills because that is what God says is the sign that He will give, right? That's the sign that He will give to his people. He always protects his people. And what he showed me in the vision was just a part of land just break off to go into the sea. I've never seen anything like that before. It was like white, and just broke off. Like imagine a cliff, and a part of a cliff or a hillside just break off and fall off. So, but he described it as parts of this city of Portmore sinking. I don't know which part of Portmore he did not state, but he said, and I asked, warn the people in Hellshire, Fort Clarence, because there are a lot of people who live on the beach as well, Port Henderson, and so forth. And the people in the coastline, around the coastline of Jamaica, he said, would be more severely impacted, right? And there will be buildings crumbling. He showed not just in the vision on this week Tuesday, but last Tuesday or the other week Tuesday. We've been posting on TikTok and on YouTube each time the Lord gives a message. So I'm just asking you to not be like not be like the people in Nineveh, or not be like the people in the days of Noah. The people in the days of Noah, they laughed Noah to scorn, and they didn't believe that a flood was coming. And when the flood came, Noah had food, Noah had shelter, Noah had a boat, right? Noah had his family. And when disasters come, you need your family. So prepare. Then the best thing you could do is to give your life to Jesus, renounce any contract that you made with the enemy, and give your life to Jesus, because where you go matters. And he's saying, without a doubt, that there will be people whose timeline will end in this season, right? Now, the Lord said that this is an end time prophecy, a part of an end time prophecy. He also said that it is righteous judgment on the nation as well, because of what we're doing. Too much evil is on the land, too much wickedness, too much idolatry, too much murder, bloodshed, all these things, you know, too much spiritism. So he's just not pleased. And he said sea view as well, sea view and Waterhouse, and certain places where there are negative strongholds, spiritual strongholds. He gave the warning because the people are not turning, they're not repenting. The crime, the violence, the human sacrifice is still there, the murders. So he spoke about the strongholds in those areas. God wants people to grow. And God doesn't want us to look on these things as a doomsday message. He wants you to look on it as an act of love and to say, hey, God loves me. He warns and he prepares his people. And the most important thing is my soul. So let me give my soul to Jesus, because I don't know if my life is in that timeline that will expire. Let me build a relationship with Jesus, because at the end, when we're in a crisis, and if you're not used to calling upon the name of the Lord, you won't know who to call to. You won't know who to run to. You won't know who to get help from. When Jesus was on the cross, one of the thief, ask him, and he said, you'd be with me today in paradise, right? The next one says, save yourself. So you need to have the proper heart stance. If it is that you choose to be sold out to the enemy, then you know where you're gonna go. Hell is not a nice place. I've been there. I've seen the things happening there. It's a dark place. It's a scary place. You will, even though other people are there, you won't have company to party and celebrate. It's not a place for humans. So get your supplies, look up disaster preparedness, have your own emergency response plan, what to do with your children, your family. Get your supply, your solar thing, your battery pack, your kerosene oil, your food, that your non-perishable food supply, your batteries, your flashlight. Get your pen light radio, get your supplies, your tarpaulin, right? Figure out what you're going to do if an earthquake come, what furniture you're going to go under. If you have family in the hills, or friends, wherever it is that you can stay, head to the hills when you feel the next heavy shaking. And that's it for now. Feel free to accept or reject. Nobody's forcing you. God is taking the stance that, if my people were called by my name, would just humble themselves and turn, you know, I would hear and heal the land. But there's always a condition. He's saying that this is a part of end time prophecy too. So whatever is to happen will happen, disregarded. So have a good one. Bye bye.